You've heard me say that pretty much whatever you've got in front of you is okay to get started. And that is still true to this day, very much the case. However, you want to start looking more professional. You want to start looking more crystal clear. If you're jealous of all those influencers on LinkedIn and YouTube who have crystal clear video, well, there's two answers to that. One, you can go out and buy some very expensive equipment and it'll do an amazing job, far better than the cheaper stuff will. Absolutely. And I'd highly recommend it. If you've got the budget and the desire to be seen that professional, then absolutely go for it. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. You can do a very good job with cameras, as I mentioned last week, that are somewhere in the region of £100 from Amazon, and you can do a very good job with it. But to get into that a little bit, I have to get into some technical information in the background. Now, I'm not going to go too deep, so don't panic, don't turn it off. I'm going to keep this as simple as I can. The number of pixels that your camera captures is directly correlated with how good quality your video is. A long time ago, we would have all had what's called 360p, right? That's the original standard definition. 360p is 360 pixels per square inch. We then moved up to 720, which is what most laptops and built-in webcams are these days still. Or you might be lucky and have a webcam that is 1080p. 1080p is high definition. It's the gold standard for most people who are working on social media. If you're working on LinkedIn, you're working on YouTube, you need 1080p, in my opinion. 720 will get you by and it's fine, but doesn't produce the results that you get with 1080p. Now, there's a caveat here. If you're planning on being on screen with somebody else, so you're both recording, and you're both recording in 720, and you're going to go side by side, because you're losing some of the picture on the landscape setting, and you're not going to blow it up too much, actually 720 for both you and the guest will be perfectly fine, because it'll look 1080 when you put them both together. The quality of both of those knitted together will look 1080 when your audience see it. And it's that 1080 that gets you that crisp, clear image that you see on LinkedIn. One more thing to talk about though, frames per second. Now, a lot of tools out there, for some strange reason, insist on recording at 30 frames per second. 30 frames per second is, it's cinema quality, right? That's what you get when you go to the cinema. It's ridiculous. Nobody needs 30 frames per second. The absolute maximum you need is 25 frames per second, and actually 24 is much more achievable. Why is this a problem for you? When LinkedIn or a social media tool that doesn't convert your video processes a video that is higher than 24 frames per second, if your or your audience's internet isn't up to the speed of that, and it might well not be, you'll start to see a degradation of quality because it will make the video play regardless. So it'll downscale the video, make it look more blocky and pixelated, less sharp, and less nice. At 24 frames per second versus 30, nobody on social media will see any difference whatsoever. Not even on YouTube will they see a difference. So make sure that when you're recording, you set the frame rate down to 24 frames per second, or if you don't have any control over that, don't know how to do it, make sure that when you're editing your video, you convert it down to 24 frames per second. And that way you'll make sure that you get the best maximum value out of the video that you're producing, and it won't look grainy or tired or pixelated. So my advice for today is go away and have a look at the quality of outputs, your resolution of your camera, if it's a built-in one especially, that you have available. If you're going to be doing video, I would urge people not to rely on built-in cameras and to get an external camera that they can rearrange, they can point differently, they can change the settings on. It's much more customizable. I have both an OBS bot and an Opal C1. I love them both. They're both great cameras. There are much better cameras out there, more expensive cameras out there. You can go the whole hog and get a DSLR, like a Sony camera. They're great for podcasts and blogs, but they're very expensive. So if you're looking at budget, just make sure you've got something that can do 4K. So if you're recording by yourself, you might want to record in 4K because YouTube will give you the bonus of letting you record and upload in 4K, and it'll promote you in the algorithm for being a super high quality video. If you're working with other people, probably best just to stick with 1080, because likelihood is your guests will also either be 1080 or 720. And if you mix that and match it, it'll always go to the lowest. So if you've got 4K and your guest's 720, you're not going to improve your guest's quality any, right? It starts to look a bit silly. So 1080 is absolutely fine. And just consider what you need versus what you want. And a lot of people spend a lot of money on cameras and actually don't need to. Is it necessary? Can you do it in bits and pieces? Is it something you can stave off for a later date by just getting a mid-range camera? And I think for most people you can. Set it to 1080, make sure you're at 24 or 25 frames per second, and you can't go far wrong. Let me know how you get on with that